No? Alright, so let's start our topic. Okay, so we are doing the chapter 3, which is cells, and today we will be doing page number 49 and 50, inshallah, wherein we are going to study about the basic parts of a cell. So let's start with the verse from the Quran, which is related to the cells, as to how the cells get activated. It is whenever we are listening to the Holy Quran, our body cells, they get activated. Okay, and if there is any illness or any medical condition, that will be healed, especially when we are concentrating and listening to the Quran. So Allah says in the Quran, so when the Quran is being recited, then listen to it and pay attention that you may receive mercy. Indeed, you will receive mercy and also healing if you have any illness. So we always need to keep on listening to the Quran, also recite it, and also reflect on its meaning. All right. Objectives for this topic today are to sort out the basic parts of a cell. So we are going to discuss about each and every part and discuss its function. In the last lesson, we did the difference between a plant cell and animal cell. I hope it is clear for you. That was very, very important for you to understand as to what is the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. Because not only in grade 7, this you will come across in all the grades you're studying from now in your biology. Okay, so a basic part of a cell and the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell is very, very important foundation for you to understand. So that tomorrow, wherever you're coming across, because you will be coming across a lot about a plant cell and an animal cell in your biology, if the concept is clear, it will be easy. Is it clear, ladies, about the concept? Did you all practice this modeling cell structure and function?
Hi, Miss. I just entered.
Hello, sweetie. Shall we do it quickly if you want to practice about the parts of an animal and a plant cell?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. Also, quickly we need to drag the parts of a cell. First, we can make construct an animal cell. We'll start with it, and then we'll construct a plant cell.
Okay.
So you will tell me the parts of an animal cell, and I'm going to drag it first. So which is the part which comes first in an animal cell?
Cell membrane.
The cell membranes.
Cell membrane. Excellent. So let's drag the cell membrane here. Next.
The
nucleus.
Nucleus is present where?
No, nuclear membrane.
No. What is present inside the cell membrane now?
Okay.
Nucleus.
Nucleus.
Nucleus is an organelle, but where are all the organelles?
Oh, yeah, the cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm. Excellent. Let's drag the cytoplasm next. Very good. Now, shall I drag the nucleus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the nuclear membrane.
Nuclear membrane.
Okay, nuclear membrane. Then
Then the
mitochondria.
in an animal cell?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Very good. So that's it. Shall I drag the chloroplast?
No, it's not for the animal. It's for the plant.
Plants.
Excellent. What about the cell wall?
No, it's not for
So
the animal.
present only in
It's
plants.
the plant.
Very good. So your animal cell is complete. Now let's go and make a plant cell. What do you want me to put first?
Cell wall.
And then,
And then cell
Cytoplasm.
membranes.
are you sure the cytoplasm goes next?
Cell membranes. Membrane.
Cell membrane. Excellent.
Cell
It is
membrane.
present in both an animal and a plant cell. Very good.
Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
And then the cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm.
excellent. Then,
Oh yeah. And then the
The-
chloroplast.
Chloroplast. Yeah.
then you want me to put the chloroplast? Okay.
Yeah.
And then mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Okay.
And the nucleus.
Nuclear
Nucleus. Okay.
And the nuclear membrane.
membrane.
Okay. Great. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a plant cell which we made. Now let's see the differences now. So these are the organelles which they give us from one by one. So we need to put them either if they are unique under an animal cell over here, if they are unique for a plant cell over here, or if they are similar for both animal and a plant cell in the center.
Okay.
Cell membrane, what do you think?
Cell membrane is
Where does it go?
Both.
for both.
So it will go under similar.
Yeah.
Excellent. What about mitochondria?
Both.
Both. Very good. I want even the others to participate, ladies. What about
Cytoplasm, both.
Miss, I think you can choose the girls.
Yeah, you can choose the girls.
I wanted to do that, but it will consume a lot of time, so that is why I was just keeping quiet. Only
can do it.
Fatima and Hannah Tawfiq participates. What about the rest of the girls? Please participate, ladies. Bisan, Dareen, Farah, Hannah Adil. Please speak out. Just tell me. Okay. Cytoplasm. Tell me.
For both.
Dareen says both. Great.
Yes, Miss, me too. I said both.
Very good.
Chloroplast for
What
the
about
plant
chloroplast?
cell.
Okay, it is unique for a plant cell.
Yeah.
Very good job. Then cell wall.
Plant cell.
For plant cell. Very good. Excellent job. What about the nucleus?
For both.
Very good. What about the nuclear membrane?
For both.
Both. Excellent. What about, that's it. Okay, so these are the basic parts of a cell. Of course, there are more organelles. We can talk about the ribosomes, the Golgi apparatus, the endoplasmic reticulum. Those are the complex organelles which you will be studying in your higher grades, inshallah. For now, you need to know these are the basic differences between a plant and an animal.
Yeah, Miss, but they're not all present in the book. Like, there's no the nuclear membrane. Yeah.
So you only have the basic parts. That is why they said the basic parts of a cell. So only the important parts are here. So all these complex organelles you will be studying in your higher grades, inshallah. Okay? Yes. So let's start with the most basic part of a cell, which obviously is the nucleus, which is the most important part of a cell, which is the control center of the cell. So why are we calling it a control center? Because it contains the
control. It contains DNA.
Very good. It contains the DNA, which is the genetic material which can be carried forward. Now, what is DNA?
DNA is the
DNA is made from groups of atoms linked together to form a molecule.
Very good. Yes, she was trying to tell the full form of DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. And yes, your answer is correct. It is made up from group of atoms which are linked together to form a molecule, which is like a long chain of molecules, which is the DNA molecule. Okay, so the group of atoms, they occur in different combinations along the DNA molecule. And these combinations, they provide instructions for the cell to make chemicals to keep it alive or to build its cell parts. So as I showed you the other day, the double helix structure of the DNA molecule, it has many combinations of the bases. So depending upon the combination of these bases which are present in the DNA molecule, it determines which type of a molecule or a protein is made from that DNA. Okay, so when you see these different combinations, they are talking about the combinations of these bases. Okay, each and every protein molecule, it has a different combination of these base. Defines which type of protein molecule is being made. Clear, ladies? So as the cell grows, the DNA is copied, and when the cell divides, the DNA divides too. So you know the cell division takes place both in the body cells, which are known as the somatic cells, and also the sex cells, meaning the cells which are present in the sex organs. So all these cells, they need to divide. And when this cell division takes place, the DNA also is dividing. The DNA also gets copied. As the cell divides, the DNA divides too, because the nucleus divides, isn't it? So along with the nucleus, even the DNA divides. Yes.
Miss, so the DNA is present in the cells.
Yes, it is present in the nucleus of the cell.
Yeah. So then DNA is a molecule and it's made up of atoms.
Yes.
Okay.
For us, from the biology, we are saying it is the nucleus which contains the genetic material. It is contained in the cell, and when the cell divides, the nucleus also divides along with the genetic material inside the DNA. From the chemistry point of view, how will you explain a DNA? You will say it is a molecule which is made up of many atoms which are linked together. All right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the nucleus of each new cell, it receives all the instructions to keep the new cells alive and also enable it to grow. And that is why we are saying the nucleus, it is the controlling center of the cell because it has the instructions for making all the proteins, and also it keeps the new cells alive and helps them to grow because the DNA, it is being passed over to the new cells. Okay, ladies, so let's talk about the next cell part, which is the cytoplasm. Okay, so what is cytoplasm? The material which is present just inside the cell membrane, the jelly-like substance is known as the cytoplasm. So how do you define it? It is a watery jelly that fills most of each animal cell. Even if it is a plant cell or an animal cell, inside the cell membrane, the jelly-like substance present is known as the cytoplasm. It can move around inside the cell, okay? Because how the jelly moves, you know, how is the jelly?
Yeah. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it is semi-solid, isn't it? It can move. Similarly, the cytoplasm can move inside the cell. Also, the cytoplasm may contain stored food in the form of grains. Okay, so for example, if it is a plant cell, the plant cell, it stores its food in the form of starch grains. Starch grains meaning whenever the plant needs food for its activity, these starch grains are used. It stores the food in the cell in the form of little starch grains. Similarly, if it is an animal cell, it stores its food in the form of glycogen. As we discussed in our previous topics, that animals, they store the energy in the liver and the muscles in the form of glycogen, isn't it? So that is how the cytoplasm contains stored food in the form of starch if it is a plant cell.
This is the stored food, the mitochondria?
No, the mitochondria provides the energy, but not the stored food.
Yeah, because I think you said the animals exert more energy, so they have more amount of mitochondria than the plant cell.
The more amount of mitochondria, why? In order to produce more energy.
Yeah, so I thought that the energy is like the same as the glucose.
Yes, you can say the glucose is broken down to produce the energy. That is why in active cells, more mitochondria are present so that more energy can be produced. But whenever we are talking about storage of energy, then the animals, they store it in the form of glycogen, and the plants, they store it in the form of starch. So the storing function, it is done by the starch and in the form of starch or glycogen, whereas producing energy is done by mitochondria. Clear, Hannah? That is why more mitochondria are present in the active parts of the body wherever our cells are active, like the muscles and the nerve cells, etc.
And what do the cytoplasm do?
The cytoplasm, it holds all these organelles in it, and also the cytoplasm is the place where the various chemical reactions take place. All the metabolic reactions, they take place in the cytoplasm itself. Even the starch grains which are present in a plant cell, they are present in the cytoplasm.
Yes.
Clear? So most of the chemical reactions that keep the cell alive, they take place in the cytoplasm. So you can say the cell's chemical reactions, all of them, they take place in the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance which holds the organelles in its place. Even the cytoplasm can move. And what are the information you need to know is it can also contain the stored food in it in the form of grains. If it is a plant cell, it is in the form of starch. And you will also study about an organelle known as a vacuole. Okay, like you have a large vacuole in a plant cell. Similarly, in an animal cell, you will see very small vacuoles which are known as vesicles. So in these small vesicles, like containers or boxes, we store our food in the refrigerator in a container. Similarly, the cells also, they store their food in these small containers. So those containers are known as vesicles, which are present in an animal cell, and vacuoles, which are present in a plant cell.
There is more in the plant cell because the plant cell make her food by her own.
Very good, excellent. So they are present in a huge size or large size in plant cell, vacuole, large vacuoles. Why? Because they contain the cell sap, and obviously the plants, they have the sugar stored, and they are mineral ions and the various things, and plants, they make their own food, so they have large vacuoles compared to the animal cells. Very good answer, Fatma. Clear about cytoplasm? Shall we move on to the next organelle?
Yes.
Okay. So the next organelle is cell membrane. So these three basic organelles, be it nucleus or cytoplasm and cell membrane, they are present both in an animal cell and a plant cell. Okay. So the cell membrane, it covers the outside of the cell, this thing. It has tiny holes in it called pores that control the movement of chemicals in or out of the cell. Okay, so that is why we call the cell membrane as semi-permeable or selectively permeable, meaning it has tiny holes in it which allows the exchange of materials like water, oxygen, mineral ions, sugars. All these are exchanged with the help of the cell membrane into the inside and outside of the cell. To allow this exchange, these tiny pores or holes are present in the cell membrane, and that is why the cell membrane is given the name selectively permeable or semi-permeable.
Miss, where is the oxygen placed in the cell? Like, where is it present?
Where is it present? Meaning the cells, they take in oxygen. Right, through these pores, the oxygen enters the cell. Then the oxygen reaches the glucose, which, if it is a plant cell, then this oxygen, it combines with the glucose. There is no place where this oxygen is present or stored. As soon as the oxygen, it combines with the glucose, it is a reaction which takes place in all the cells. So, for example, this is an animal cell, and we get the food which we eat in the form of glucose here. Okay, for example, in the mitochondria, the glucose is present. So as soon as the oxygen, it enters, the reaction takes place in the mitochondria wherein the glucose is broken down and the energy is released. There is no particular place in which the oxygen is stored in the cell. It is used up in the cell.
So energy can be released as carbon dioxide and can be released as water.
Yeah, energy is released, and carbon dioxide and water are the waste materials which are released along with the energy.
Yes.
Okay, energy is also released, and the byproducts, you can see the waste products which are released are carbon dioxide and water.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so the dissolved substances such as food, oxygen and carbon dioxide can pass through the cell membrane, and some harmful chemicals are stopped from entering the cell with the help of this cell membrane. So it has tiny pores, and whichever material can fit in through those pores can only enter the cell, like the oxygen, the carbon dioxide and also small food molecules. All of them can enter the cell, and certain harmful chemicals, they are stopped from entering the cell. Not everything can enter the cell because it is semi-permeable. It allows only certain things to enter and leave the cell. Okay, so that is the function of the cell membrane, which is present in both an animal and a plant cell. Similarly, cytoplasm and nucleus as well. Clear about these three basic parts of the cell, ladies? Shall we move on to the parts found in the plant cell now? Any questions?
Yes. No. No, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So now let's move on to the parts which are found in a plant cell. Okay, so apart from the nucleus and the cell membrane and the cytoplasm, these are the parts which are present only in a plant cell, which is the presence of a cell wall, the presence of chloroplast, and also the presence of large vacuole. So these are the parts which are unique for a plant cell and which are absent in an animal cell. Now, what is the function of a cell wall? Cell wall, it is found outside the cell membrane, this lining outside, and it is made up of cellulose, which is a tough material that gives support and forms the structure of the cell. Okay, so this cell wall, it is made up of a substance known as cellulose. Now, this cellulose, it is a polysaccharide, meaning it is a carbohydrate, but it is a complex carbohydrate. And what is the function of it? It gives the cell the strength and support so that the cell does not burst if there is a lot of water entering the cell. Also, the very good shape of a plant cell is because of the rigidity and support of this cell wall. Okay, so this is a unique feature of a plant cell. All the cells, they are plant cells, they are lined by the cell wall outside the cell membrane. Clear about the cell wall, ladies?
Miss, cellulose is the one that we took in chemistry, right?
Yes, cellulose is, where did we talk about it in chemistry?
At it is in plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we said that it is made up of complex atoms and molecules.
Yes, excellent. It is made up of crisscross of fibers, right? We studied this when we were talking about the rigidity of the materials, I believe.
Yes, the properties of materials.
Properties of materials, yes, excellent. Yes, so this is the cellulose. It is made up of fibers which are crisscross like this. Okay, so which gives the strength. Can you see how the fibers are present in the cellulose structure? And this structure which is shown over here is a polysaccharide. As I told you, it contains many glucose molecules which are linked together. So this is why we call it a polysaccharide, about which you're going to learn in your higher grades. And this is a structure of a cellulose. Because of the crisscross of the fibers present like this, it is very strong and rigid, but gives the cell its support and rigidity. Clear, ladies? Girls?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's move on to the next important part of a plant, which is the chloroplast. Now, chloroplast is very important. Why? Because it is the organelle in which the process of photosynthesis takes place. Okay, it is found in the cytoplasm of all the plant cells, and it's exactly in the leaf and the stem cells. So only the green colored parts of the plant contain these chloroplast. The leaves, the stems of the young plants, all of them, they contain the chloroplast. So whichever green structure you see in a plant, it is because of the chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment which is present in the chloroplast. Okay, so these chloroplasts, they contain a green pigment called chlorophyll that traps the energy from the sunlight to be used in the process of photosynthesis. So for the process of photosynthesis to take place in the chloroplast, the chlorophyll, it plays an important role. What does it do? The chlorophyll, it captures the energy from the sunlight, which is the key factor for the photosynthesis process to take place. So the plant, it not only needs energy from the sunlight and the carbon dioxide from the air and the water and minerals from the soil for the photosynthesis to take place. The chlorophyll is an important pigment which helps in absorbing the sunlight from the sun so that the photosynthesis process can take place. Clear, ladies? So that is why the chloroplasts, they play a vital role in the process of photosynthesis. They are not present in all the plant cells. They are present only the green colored parts of the plant, in the leaves, in all the leaves, and in a few stems which are green in color. Clear, ladies? Any questions?
No, miss, thank you.
No,
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
Now let's move on to the next organelle, which is again unique to the plant cell, which is the large vacuole. Okay, so this vacuole which you see in large size, which also helps in giving support and shape to the plant cell, it is known as the vacuole. It is a large space in the cytoplasm of only plant cells which is filled with a liquid known as cell sap. So what is contained in this vacuole? It is cell sap. Cell sap is nothing but a combination of dissolved sugars and salts with the plants stored in their cells. Okay, so if the plant is short of water, the support of the vacuole will be lost and the plants, they wilt. Okay, for example, when the plant is supplied with enough water, when it is very fresh, then it is very, you can see the leaves erect, and the plant is very erect and nice. How does a healthy plant look like to you? Okay.
Very bright green.
Yeah, it is very. How do you describe a healthy plant when you see it?
Like healthy.
Healthy, yes. How do you look at it and say it is healthy?
When it is vibrant and it is bright.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it is
Yes.
green.
It is green, of course, and you can see the leaves are erect and they are very fresh. So you can see that it contains a lot of water, and it has.
When it's fresh and green, maybe the smell.
The smell also sometimes, yeah, maybe it might smell.
The flowers, maybe.
Yeah, the flowers, the wilted flowers, they smell.
Yeah.
Usually the plant is very erect and it is very strong and very healthy, isn't it? Whereas the plant which loses water, which is wilted, it looks like this. Okay? Obviously, when the plant is losing water, it loses water from these vacuoles, and these vacuoles, when they are decreasing in size, even the cell shape it becomes shrunken, and when the cells are shrunken, this is how the plant looks like. In your higher grades, you will talk about as to how the plant loses water by the process of osmosis, and what happens to a cell when it loses water. All this you will study in detail. For now, you need to know that whenever the plant it loses water to the outside atmosphere, meaning if it does not have enough water, or if it is exposed a lot to the sunlight. What happens if you're putting a plant in afternoon sunlight between 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. If you're putting it outside in the sunlight, of course the plant will be wilted. Why?
Because the sunlight burns it.
Because the sunlight, it absorbs the water or the moisture from the plant, isn't it? Because the plant's leaves, they are exposed to the sunlight, and because of this larger surface area, the water which is present in these leaves, it is evaporated because of the sunlight and the heat. And that is how the plant, it loses water and it becomes wilted like this. Okay, so when this leaf is losing water, from where is it losing this water? From this vacuole. So this vacuole, when it decreases in size, when it becomes short of water, then the support of the vacuole to the cell will be lost and the plant wilts. This is what happens. Then the cell will shrink in size. It will not be like this erect and healthy and bulged. It will be shrunken when it loses water, and this shows on the plant. The plant, on the other hand, also will be wilted. Clear, girls?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the large vacuole has the sugars and the water inside it.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it looks like the mitochondria. I don't know why I'm kind of confused between it and the mitochondria.
Why are you confused? Chloroplast, though it looks like mitochondria, it is also elongated like that, but you can see it is green in color, and it is the place where the process of photosynthesis takes place. And
yeah, no, I'm talking about the large vacuole.
The large vacuole, what has it to do with the chloroplast and the energy? It is just like a container. Okay, a large vacuole, it stores plant cell sap. It just stores the food, the cell sap.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Anatofik, it doesn't have to do anything with the energy like the chloroplast or the mitochondria. It is just like a container which stores the cell sap.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. So some animal cells and protists, they have vacuoles, but they are much smaller than in the plant cells. So in most of the animal cells, either these vacuoles are absent altogether, or they are present in very small size, which are known as vesicles. So that you are going to study further in your higher grades, inshallah. Not in here. If you are giving you a lot of information for grade 7, you might get confused. So you just need to know that the basic parts of a cell are nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane, which are present in both animal cell and a plant cell, and you need to know their functions. And similarly, apart from these organelles, the organelles which are unique or which are present only in a plant cell are the cell wall, the chloroplast and the large vacuole, which are absent in an animal cell. Clear, girls? Alright, then we will talk about the adaptation in the cells in our next lesson, inshallah. And coming to the homework, let me check out the homework from the cells. It's page number 14.
Yeah, and don't forget to take the attendance.
Attendance, I will take it. Thank you so much. Complete these sentences about setting up a microscope. So you can do question number 1 and instructions for examining the moss leaf under the microscope. Okay, so you can do question number 1 and 2 as homework for your cells topic from workbook page number 14. Okay, I will also send this homework on the group, or any one of you can send.